Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Concussion Nerds Podcast. And today, oh my gosh, today we are highlighting and inviting Jaclyn Renee, aka Jax, to the podcast. And I don't have words to describe what this woman can do for healing and health and her energy that she brings to the place. Jax is going to be leading one of the live workshops for the summit. And I'm so dang excited for it. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. We were introduced via a mutual friend who I think she actually did one of your workshops. I know you guys reconnected at an event, and she messaged me after and was like, this would be so good for your summit. So I will go into more detail. I'm like leaving things hanging here. But Jax, can you introduce yourself to this community a bit more, who you are, what you do, and a bit of your path to this passion that you've had in founding Release?
Yes. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being able to be a part of the Concussion Summit. I'm very excited to bring this to you guys. Like Natasha said, my name is Jaclyn Renee, but everyone just calls me Jack. It's super easy, makes life so simple so that, nobody has to figure out how to say my name. But basically, day by day, I am a transformational health coach. And what that means is that I help support people, mostly women, but I do have male clients too, into becoming the healthiest versions of themselves. And the pillars, it's not just nutrition or supplementation anymore. It's really moving through emotional changes, negative thought patterns, the mindset, how you live your life, your lifestyle. And so I love that I get to wake up and do this every day and help people just make a difference in their life and thrive, especially those who have been through chronic illness. I would put people in underneath the umbrella with concussion, going through something that is really life altering and having to come back from it. It's not easy. So I'm super pumped that I get to really facilitate people through these changes every day.
I love it. So give us some context on what is Release, because this is your baby.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
what is it and how did it come to be? That's
Yeah.
what I'm like super curious about.
For sure. I've been coaching for 10 years and everything from gut health, hormone health, chronic weird mystery illnesses. And, my toolbox was nutrition, supplements, stress management over and over again. And while I would see people get so much better, I mean, I've seen people like be able to skip surgeries or come off medications and help them to, lose 50 plus pounds, like all sorts of stuff. There was always like this residual 10% that I felt like kept them sensitive or kept them stuck in stories that were, I'm still sick or there's still something wrong with me or something like that. And so I'm going to put that little piece that I just explained on hold for a second. And knowing that I was always studying, researching, looking for like, what is the additional element that I'm missing here with people and with my own health as well, too. So my health was terrible when I was a child and in my teens. Into my 30s, I started to learn what holistic health really meant and really just changed my entire life, my health, my anxiety through holistic health practices.
So I'm going to interrupt you for a
Yeah.
second because people throw the word holistic around a lot.
Absolutely.
So like when you say like, I finally learned what holistic health was.
Yeah.
What is it for you?
That's a really good question and very important that people understand. So, holistic basically means whole body. So, whenever someone is doing holistic practices, it means they're taking into consideration mind, body, soul, spirit, not just like fix the problem. So, I truly believe that, Western medicine has its place in time. They obviously for surgeries and for major, problems that go on, major traumas, we need them. And I've needed them in my life as well, too. But I kept hitting my head against the wall when I was just trying to fix the problem in that realm. And, nobody really talked to me about nutrition. Nobody was talking to me about healing herbs and supplements. Nobody was talking to me about changing my lifestyle, that I was a hairstylist that was working 11 hours a day and not taking a break. And then I would get off work and binge eat and go to bed and do the same thing over and over again. Why do I have gut issues? Yeah, gosh, I wonder why. No one's talking about that. They're just talking about, take Metamucil or here's this antibiotic. And while those things provided me temporary relief, they were not fixing the root issue. So I was introduced to holistic health, and there's many different forms of holistic health. There's different umbrellas. So you can see like a naturopathic doctor, you can see functional medicine, you can go to a holistic health coaches, which is where I began. And they start to look at your situation broad spectrum, not just, oh, cut your arm, so we put a cast on, or you broke your arm, so we put a cast on. We know that's how you fix that. But with the gut or the brain or hormones, it's not that easy. It's not that cookie cutter, So with knowing that, out here I am with all my health issues, and I start to get into holistic health. I start to get better. I become a coach. I start to help other people get better. Now, me and all of my clients are at about 90% of health. Like, what is that 10% that's missing? And I really honestly didn't dive deeper into it until I lost my mom. So about 2.5 years ago ish, I lost my mom. I went into deep grief, which I'm sure anyone listening or you can understand that when you lose someone that close to you, how devastating that can be and how much grief comes up. It starts to spark all of the health issues you used to have. And I started to experience gut health issues again. I experienced anxiety again. And I'm like, what? Okay, where is all this coming from? Because I'm doing A, B, C, D. I'm doing the clean diet. I'm doing the supplements. I'm doing my meditation. But I was regressing fast, like very quickly. And I was almost like, I might need to take some time off work to heal myself. What is going on? Yeah. And so I started to dive into this a little bit more, pray on it, look into research, and I came across information on understanding trapped emotions. So I don't know if you're familiar with understanding and learning things like trapped emotions, but once I hit that, I was like, this is it. This is the 10%. This is what people are experiencing, and this is what I am experiencing that is not letting me feel fully healed in my body. So I woke up one morning and I just started moving around. Like, honestly, there was no like big epiphany. I just was like, let me just see what it feels like to release trapped emotions in my body, move somatically. We hear this word somatic. And I did it again the next day, and I did it again the next day. And by the end of the month, I felt like my anxiety was lifted, my depression was lifted, my skin looked clear. I just felt like free. And I want to say that it wasn't, sorry, go ahead.
And I'm just like, you literally just like got up and moved how your body felt like moving. There was no like, this is what my body feels like it needs. I'm going to go with it and today.
Yes. Well, because I had sort of, been researching, okay, trapped emotions, they live in the body. You need to move to relieve trapped emotions. You can't just meditate and journal your way out of them. And then just praying about it and really just receiving messages like, yeah, just like move. So I have this massive mirror and I threw on some music, threw on some good old Ariana Grande, some feel good music. And she's great for when you're in a sad mood. And I honestly just started moving and weirdly, I'm glad I never filmed it. Let's just be honest. It was weird. It was weird movements. And then I would find myself wanting to make noises. And then I would find myself like putting together routines. And like I said, at the end of the month, I was like, wow, I feel incredible. And I wonder if this would help my clients. Like, I wonder if this is sort of a missing piece. So I started to put it together into something since I was feeling better. I launched it at my retreat last year in Sedona I had a group of 8 women come to my retreat in Sedona. And I was just like, guys, we're going to try something new. I just created it.
Into something ever.
Yeah.
Do you trust me?
You trust me. I mean, I know I didn't tell them before they paid and came to Sedona. I was just like, I'm going to throw this at you guys. I'll give you a refund. No, but I really need your feedback. And a lot of them are very close clients. You know how your close clients are. They trust your research. They trust your, yeah. And so I threw it at them, but it was like mini. It was like a 45-minute. And at the end of it, they just looked at me and I was like, nobody really said anything. No one cried. No one felt it. It just like in shock. And somebody finally spoke up and she was like, we need to do that again tomorrow. We need to do that every day of this retreat. She's like, that was the most liberating feeling I have ever felt in my life. Like, I want to, yeah, I literally got chills.
Like, I just got goosebumps.
And the woman who I was speaking to, majority of the women were between ages 35 and 55 at my retreat. And she was maybe like, I would say like late 40s, early 50s mom, has a teenager, probably stressed for a lot of her life, working as well too. And so for her to say she felt liberated was a beautiful feeling. And so thus Release was born. Release Method is the full name. And I was like, all right, I got to start having classes and getting this out there. Once I did, and I started sharing it with my fellow practitioners here in Arizona, like other breathwork teachers and facilitators of sorts, other coaches, they were like, Jack, you are onto something. It's sort of like a missing piece in the healing journeys, and you got to go full force with this. And so I did.
And so here we are today. I love this. Oh my gosh. I always say, and like you and I think talked about this too when we did our first call, we're like,
Yeah.
let's just chat. I try in everything that I do to embrace like the science and the spirit into everything. And I think that similar thing is like I was having great success with my clients from the scientific perspective of things. And I'm like, I started something missing, right?
Yeah.
And I find that, I'm a physical therapist. And so everything in our profession is supposed to be very like science-based and evidence-based. And so I feel like there's actually a lot of fear to step into more the spirit, the mindset, the realm of things. And I'm listening to you talk, and I'm just like, my whole thing with the summit too was I practice the mind and the body and the spirit and bringing that element to the summit. And having you lead the Release Method workshop is, because there's a lot of science coming into the summit, but having you bring this is truly like blending science. And so I think for the clinicians in particular, because here's the best part with our live workshops is that they're live, and it's cool. They will be recorded. So if you can't attend live, you'll still get Jack's workshop.
Yeah.
But the clinicians and the individuals on the healing journey are coming together for our live workshops, because I believe that like we can learn so much from each other and just being in each other's presence too. And I suspect, and I would love your feedback on this too. So this is going to be new. This thing is very new to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And they might be inclined to say, A, I don't need that. Mm-hmm. B, I can come back to it later. Or like, this isn't something that applies to me. Mm-hmm. What would you say to the person that's the thought going through your mind? Because I guarantee it's going to be there.
Yes. I would say the thing that you resist the most is often the thing that you need. And I will tell you, even in the journey of coming to whatever, I didn't know what release was at the time, I was resisting a lot of movement because I felt anxious, or I felt overwhelmed, or, I felt stuck. And it was like I was just avoiding movement at all costs. Maybe go for walks or whatever, go to the gym, but I was avoiding like really processing the emotions. And one of the things I will tell you about release is it does provide such a safe space for you to move through. And we don't just drop you in. We don't just like push you out of the airplane. We are really gently supporting you through every part of it that I'm sure we'll get into, so that it feels really good when you're done, not bad. Some somatic work can just feel, or even when you dive into some other energetics, it can feel really heavy when you're in it, because you're like, oh gosh, like I'm going into these emotions. Here we go. It's going to escalate, like identify them. But in release, you don't have to feel them as much as you just need to move through them. And that provides that liberation, that feeling of, most people will say, I feel free in my body. I feel light in my body. I feel calm in my body. So if you don't feel those things in your body right now, that's why you need to come.
Oh, that last sentence was just like, I'm just going to say everybody just needs to come, because
it's for everybody.
Even if we haven't identified in ourselves that's something we need, trying new things, being open to new experiences, healing doesn't happen in one way.
Yes. True.
Right. And sometimes something will like strike us over the head and you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize I needed that. Mm-hmm. And I just encourage everyone who's coming to the summit to come. Jack's workshop is the end of day 1.
Ooh, that's perfect.
And so we'll have like a day of like science.
Yeah.
And then we get to wrap with like getting into our bodies and moving through emotions, and we get to wrap with Jack's. And I'm Oh my God. I've been so excited for this since we chatted. Can you share some insight? So again, we're doing it live, we're doing it virtually for the summit. What can people expect?
Mm-hmm.
And I realize it's probably different for everybody, but as a grand thing, like what can we expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just take you through a little rundown of what the workshop is. And I believe we're doing an hour, right? It'll be an hour workshop. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So, one of the key concepts of release is to identify an emotion that is trapped in your body and where it's trapped in the body. Now, I realize for many people coming to your summit, they are recovering from concussions, right? However, it's not just so obvious that pain is in the head, or it can be fear of the future, it happening again, or it can be worry about the past, like, stuck in the story of it. But that doesn't only resonate where the injury was, it can resonate in your heart. Like your heart can just be blocked from, like love and energy going in and out because of the concussion. Or maybe it's in your liver because you have anger for the incident, and anger lives in the liver a lot of times. So, one of the core pillars that we do is we identify the emotion and the part of the body. And we do that in the beginning meditation. So I wrote the meditation. I take people through a meditation. They come with like pillows and blankets and mats or whatever, lay on the blanket. We walk you through meditation, and we then choose our I release statement. So I release anger from my throat, or I release frustration from my chest. Wherever they're feeling it, I will prompt them. And then we take that statement and we utilize it throughout. So as we move through from meditation, we're going to go into somatic stretches. And there's not really a difference between stretching and somatic stretching versus more like we're holding it a little bit longer, and we're basically putting ourselves into specific stretches that open up areas that are usually really closed and tight off, that emotions can't flow, like the hips or the chest. Yeah. So places where things get stuck. So we'll stretch, we'll do some free flow movement. And in other words, it would be considered dance, but I like to call it free flow movement because it might not always look like dance to somebody. Sometimes that word is scary to men or to people who don't dance, but free flow movement is just really to get into your body. And then we move into a 3-part segment of releasing the emotion. And that comes in sort of thrashing your body around, jumping a little bit, moving. Maybe it's kicking, screaming, whatever you feel like it is to get it out. And I will prompt you so you don't have to worry about it being scary. And of course, I will say disclaimer, if, it's triggering to anybody because of the past concussion, I provide you with support on how not to extend past your realm. I've all different types of people have come to class, and I just prompt you on what your limits will be if you don't feel good. So at that point, this is when people just feel like, so powerful because they've moved it through. We want to anchor in that feeling. And so we do that by going through something in NLP, neuro linguistic programming, called, I know you love that, called anchoring, right? So we will anchor in a new feeling. Let's say, Natasha, that your emotion was anger in the beginning. So if you were to experience anger, what would you say is the opposite of anger for you that would provide you like a happy feeling that would make you feel good?
It's more just like, honestly, it's like neutrality and calm.
Calm. Okay, so let's use the word calm, right? So we would put it into a present moment statement like I am calm or I have calmness. And we would do our anchoring technique. We would celebrate it. I have people yell it out loud on their end. Obviously, it's muted. I can't hear them doing it, but they're yelling it out loud. They're celebrating it. They're calling it in. We're anchoring it in. It's like a celebration of that point. From there, we go back into some stretching because most people do tend to get sore after it because of movement. So we stretch. And then in finality, we go through a visualization of you imagining yourself healed, of you imagining yourself in this highest, most incredible place, and sort of just what is the one thing you can take action on to put yourself in that place. But it's a very celebratory visualization. And I don't know if you've ever done visualization with your clients or not, but it's so powerful to really see yourself where you desire to be versus feeling stuck in the place you're at. And that's release method.
Oh, my goodness. put so much in an hour. Oh my gosh.
We're going to go on a very fast roller coaster.
I'm listening and I'm like, this is quite the journey.
Yeah. Well, I will be honest, it's usually like a 90-minute to 2-hour workshop, but typically some of the stuff that we go through is, we would talk through stuff more, there'd be more integration, but we'll just be providing that for your attendees in pre and post emails. And I'll be giving them, maybe like a handout or a PDF so that they can support themselves. So we can cut that part out and just get right to the meat.
Oh, I am even more excited now. Like, again, I love, there was just, when we were trying to figure out where to place you in the weekend, because we have you coming, we also have a sound healing session and we have another breathwork session throughout the weekend. So it's literally, I wanted to invite healers who provide this alternative, but such powerful method of healing. And because we had chatted and it's like, I wanted the ability for us to come back together again as a group after your workshop. That was really important to me. And I can't really put my finger on why, but I think there's just going to be so much, I keep saying the word power, but
power is huge.
There really can be so much power out of what comes out of your workshop. And I just like, even saying it again, like this is, everyone's like, I'm science and spirit, I'm woo, I'm all the things. Like I just sitting here, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm having trouble finding the words to describe what I'm feeling in my body of what this is going to bring to our guests.
I think that's very common. when because when I try to describe it, or even when I have people do testimonials, they're like, I don't know. It's just like, it's so undescribable. But I love that you guys are getting back together after, because I think there will be a lot of power in that after, when people feel so liberated to come back together and unite that. I think your intuition is spot on with that, to be able to come back.
Thank you. And I actually have us starting like the next morning. So we have your workshop and then we have like, we come together like live right after to wrap the day, but then we come back together live at 9:00 the next morning to welcome everyone. And then I take them right into I don't, but like they go right into a sound healing workshop, which is much more grounding and calming too. And I was like, it just felt right.
Yes, absolutely. Really yeah. No, I think it'll be amazing. And I absolutely will be providing some journal prompts for you to give to all your attendees that night so that they can sort of bring that into the sound healing too. Because I've done release method with a sound healing at the end of it. And it is very grounding. We've done it with like journaling experts coming in, just sort of a finality to it. And I think it will be really beautiful, especially because we just have that like 1 hour time for you guys to come back together. Will be perfect.
Oh, I'm so excited. Jack, is there anything else you would like to share about yourself, about release method, like anything with our upcoming summit guests?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I like to say open door policy. Please come over and follow me. I am Jaclyn Renee and at release.method. And let me know if you're coming to the summit. If you have any questions beforehand or anything, I'd be happy to, provide and answer. I love connecting with people. So please come on over if that's your gig. And then, if there's anything else that I can provide for you specifically, you just let me know. If someone wants to get a taste beforehand, we run online workshops before, but I know that this is going to be so beneficial for the people that you are serving, mostly because those emotions from the event are probably what's most likely holding back any healing. So we want to be able to move through those.
I love this. I'm so excited that everyone at the summit gets to experience this. Your workshop was one of those ones that it was like, whether you are a free participant or a VIP participant, you get this workshop.
Yeah.
And so again, just helping spread the word of it and supporting you. And thank you for coming and supporting us in this way. We appreciate it so much. We will drop Jack's Instagram below too. So jump over and follow her. We'll email out the journal prompts like at the time. Like, oh, I'm so excited.
I know.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing more. Like I was excited before and I'm more excited now. And if you are listening to this, jump below and go register for the summit if you haven't already. It's going to be amazing. And you get to experience her magic that she will bring as well. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. And everyone else, we will see you next week. that's today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked what you heard, give us a like, give us a share, give us a tag on Instagram, and please never hesitate to reach out. We love communicating and connecting with you. Until next week, my friends, have a marvelous day.